All right, is Renee Reinsberg here for locu?
Over here.
Yep, all right, come over. Hello, everyone.
3 2 tweets.
Full screen mode. Push from the bottom.
So yeah, I'm with this company called Locu. I'm the CEO and co-founder. We are a startup that got started out of MIT, out of Tim Berners-Lee's lab, and we're based here in Cambridge. We're also opening an office in San Francisco later this month. Just raised our Series A from General Catalyst, and yeah, I'm just here to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Our vision was, when we got started, to really help the next generation of web and mobile technologies and applications to leverage more structured data. And if you're familiar with search even a little bit, you'll kind of quickly appreciate the value of structured data when you, for example, have a very specific question that is very difficult to answer just based on keywords. So say you type into Google, a query like, find me a dry cleaner, where I can get, 3 or 4 shirts dry cleaned by tomorrow for less than $15. Google would definitely struggle with that. But in an ideal world, an interface like Siri would pick it up, and based on the structured information about the price list of that dry cleaner, i.e. the prices and the items and the descriptions and maybe some of the timing around that service, will be able to give you an answer. And clearly, we're still a long time away from really having that seamless experience. But one thing, even simpler queries are not really possible today. And why is that? I think the reason for that is that a lot of information is not online right now. So really, there's no way to find it if you would search through all the results on Google or whatever search engine you're using. But if they're online, then there's still a problem of actually kind of looking at a variety of different results and coming to a conclusion and trying to compare those. And so the way people have tackled that problem is to basically, if let's say you're a Seamless Web or Grubhub and you're in the online ordering business, you need that information to actually facilitate orders. So the way you do it is you have a team of workers, of data entry workers that will pick up the phone, call the restaurants, collect information, put it into web forms, keep data up to date, and every week or so we'll call the restaurant and make sure that the information is not outdated, which is a very costly process. So the alternative to that would be to build some sort of a system that automatically crawls the web similar to the way Google crawls the web and picks up the information, structures it, and exposes it to whatever interface you're using. That's very difficult, just given the variety of inputs. And so most people resort to the first alternative, which is the manual labor. And what we're really doing is at Locu is combining the human and the machine learning approach to actually at scale structure data. And so our mission is to structure the world's information, and we're starting in the local space. But the reason I'm here today is because every one of you is probably thinking about a startup, thinking about an idea, or is working on a startup right now, and has some sort of data problem, has kind of knows that there's information out there that would be very powerful for your application or whatever you're building, but it's very costly to actually kind of aggregate, structure, and keep up to date that data. So the one example that we picked to really illustrate that is a local space. So we've basically been structuring price lists, just restaurant menus, and exposing those to the big partners, so big search companies, and location-based services to basically allow them to have a better user experience. On the other hand, we also want to give the merchants, kind of who are, arguably the producer of the data, the ability to interact with the data and actually make their life easier, having a consistent web presence. And so we launched Menu Platform, which is our first product, and it's already been used by a couple of restaurants here in the Boston area, and where we kind of do all the work of structuring the data and then give them an easy platform to publish it on the web using beautiful templates and really a very non-technical approach that otherwise would be required to keep making updates. So yeah, that's it. Keep us in mind if you have any sort of structuring data problem, or if you just want to chat about the local state, and feel free to reach out.
Questions for locu?
Oh, Chrissy.
You said it was a combination of human and machine learning. Where does the human come into it?
Yeah.
Post-processing and
yeah, absolutely. So depending on the data problem, we basically kind of pick a schema, and that schema represents the structure of the data. And then the machine learning algorithms kind of collect the data and kind of try to infer the structure. So if you have a menu, you want to know what are prices, what are titles, what are descriptions, what are sections, what are maybe choices or additions. And sometimes these specifiers get the structuring part wrong. And so that's where the human comes in. That's where the humans come in. So we have a hierarchy of trained crowd workers that are basically working on this virtually. So they're all across the world. Hundreds of workers that can log into our system are trained to actually use markup languages to edit and fix up any errors. And any feedback or any changes they make gets recorded and fed back into the classifiers to kind of improve any future classifications. So that's kind of how the two pieces come together.
How does a firm like yours protect your IP?
Great question. We are working with a local IP firm that has been helping us put together a patent portfolio. Even though I don't think that will eventually help us, really protect us. But I think it's always smart to think about that. But I think we just believe that we have the most ambitious team, the most sort of eager team to kind of crack that problem. And if somebody tries to copy that or do it as well, then it's probably good for all the other people out there. It's a big market. I mean, structured data, right? There's so much data out there, so we're not too worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So is your plan then to find restaurants are going to need a similar schema, but construction companies want to use a different schema? And so is your plan like let's get restaurants down and then we'll move on to the next sector, then we'll get a bunch of those clients and we'll move on to the next sector?
Absolutely. Yeah. So restaurants was the first vertical. We're also doing personal care and other local services verticals, but even we have a lot of interest actually from companies outside the local space. We have a few financial firms that are looking for help in structuring financial data, and in terms of the process of the platform, it works as well. We just have to retrain the workers. We're not using a new schema, but apart from that, the system is very flexible to accommodate other areas.
I have a question. Google announced the release of the Knowledge Web today. How does that affect you guys going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the big search engines have been looking at the semantic web for like a long time, right? I mean, Bing, Google, everybody, Yahoo, we're really all kind of have strong internal efforts. Google bought Freebase MetaWeb and kind of has been sort of pushing that. I think there's that's probably closer to the actually academic view of the semantic web. In terms of kind of creating that web of entities and kind of having topologies, and in our way it's almost more like a more kind of market approach. I think there are a lot of companies that we work with, they don't really care about that so much. They just want structured data that they can use in an application, right? And oftentimes that is fine via our API. Sometimes it's just actually giving them a data dump, right? So I think in the end, you have to make sure that the data is usable, right, and kind of easy to kind of grasp. So oftentimes, things like knowledge web, I think great concept, and that's something where the whole kind of market is moving towards. But for now, like most companies just need like a very kind of much more specific like tailored data set to work with, right? So yeah, I think that's already like it's more like a practical approach to taking.
What's the business model? Are you charging the data folks, the menu folks? Who are you charging? What are you doing?
Yeah, good question. So for menu platform, the basic version is free. There are premium features, so restaurants that want more, more kind of customization or support, they can upgrade. On the data service side, we actually have plans that pay us. They get additional kind of structural information and some additional support. So again, it's a free model on the data set as well.
I
feel like restaurants are a case study for you. I mean, what's next? What do you hope to structure?
Perfect question. So I think, I mean, local overall is very interesting to us. I think, you know, even outside restaurants are just a very small part of local businesses, and so there's, I think, even outside restaurants, there's even bigger need for kind of reasonable information online in a structured format. Longer term, you know, I think we're still very early on exploring what are the kind of the right verticals to go after next. But yeah, we're starting to look into that and, you know, trying to figure out where our, you know, technology can add the most value.
All right, thanks, locu.
That's it. Thank you.